Today we are going to have a little look at my wish list for 2025, and by no means am I looking to get all of these plants this year. These are just some of the ones that have caught my eye and stuck in my mind that I will be keeping my eye out basically when I'm out plant shopping. So first off, we've got either the philodendron pedatum or Florida green, and the reason it's either or is because they're kind of similar. In fact, the Florida green is actually a cross between the pedatum and the squamiferum. So honestly, I don't really mind which one I get. I just love the shape of the leaves on this plant, and yeah, I'd be happy with either one. So whichever one of these happens to come across my path first is the one I will get, and I definitely would like to get this one growing up something. I've seen so many really cool pictures of these online, and I hear this is a plant that tends to keep growing throughout winter too, so I'm hoping that's true. But yeah, I'd say if I was to pick one or two off this list that I definitely want to get in 2025, this one's pretty high up, and I think it's quite attainable because it's not the rarest plant in the world. Certainly the pedatum is the common version, and then the Florida green is, as I say, a cross, but either one isn't really that rare, so I don't think there should be a problem in me getting hold of this plant. But I definitely won't be buying both of them because they're very similar, so one or the other will be fine. Next is another philodendron. I'm a little bit philodendron mad, but the next one is the philodendron Paraíso Verde. This one was actually on my wish list last year as well, and I did see some online that I could have got, but I don't have the most luck buying plants online. They tend to have issues, and these weren't very well established plants. And the reason I didn't want to get one was because we're in the colder months now, and I hear this is a plant that requires high temperatures to grow, and I thought buying it when we're in the middle of winter will probably be the worst mistake I could make. So I've got this one on my list because it's absolutely gorgeous. And yeah, from all the research I've done, because I've done quite a lot of research into this one, because it's one that I have right at the top of my list, and from all the research I've done, it seems that even though this plant does like a lot of light to keep that variegation, it's more down to temperature than it is light. So yeah, there may be issues in winter with it growing non-variegated leaves, or maybe it will just stop growing altogether in winter, whatever. But either way, I do feel like having a go with this plant, even if it turns out that I don't do very well with it. I do still want to have a go. The variegation on it is really beautiful, and yeah, I think it's worth a try. There is also the Jose Bueno, which I don't actually have on my list. It was on my list last year, and I kind of would like that one, but I don't know. I don't see it around much, so I thought realistically I'm probably not going to find it. But definitely the Paraíso Verde is on my list and seems to be a little bit more readily available than the Jose Bueno. So next is a syngonium, and I am crazy about syngoniums. This one is the Syngonium Pink Splash, and this one is not that hard to get hold of. I've definitely seen it online a lot, but I kind of like to get one in person if possible, and I think this could be quite a realistic plant to get just because it's not really all that rare anymore. Maybe it's considered more slightly uncommon, I suppose, but I do think that there's every chance that I could find this one in the garden centres sometime in 2025. And yeah, I've really wanted this one for a while. I do have the pink syngonium, but I would really like to get the one with the pink splash because it has green on it as well, and it's got different variegation. So yeah, this one's definitely on my list, and yeah, if I see this one I will definitely be buying it straight away. And I actually do have several syngoniums on this list. Another one I have is the Syngonium aurea, and I've kind of had this one in my mental wish list since last year, but you just don't see this one around. I have seen it online, but in places that I don't really want to buy it. So yeah, if I was to see this in a shop, I would jump at the chance to get it. But it's kind of like the Syngonium albo, but it's got more of a sort of yellowy variegation, and yeah, I just think it's really pretty. I'd definitely like to get this one, and yeah, would love to add this one to my Syngonium collection. But yeah, it does seem to be fairly uncommon. I don't know if it's considered rare, but yeah, you don't see it around much. I've never ever seen it in person, so yeah, if I ever do see it in person, I will be snapping it up. Next we have another philodendron, surprise, surprise. This is the philodendron philodendron mexicanum. And what I love about this one is it has those kind of long leaves, but it also has kind of lobes as well that kind of look like ears. And I just think it's really fun. So I definitely like to get my hands on this one. It's kind of got vibes of the philodendron blietier, which I really love. I have that one. But yeah, it's got something different about it. It's the ears, I think. And I would definitely like to get my hands on one of these. I've seen them online again. You can get most things online, but I've never seen it in person. I'd really prefer to get my plants in person if possible, because buying them online for me tends to come with a lot of problems. So moving on to a few more syngoniums now. One of them is called the Syngonium Green Splash, and I just think this is beautiful. It looks a lot more smooth than the Syngonium Mojito. There's just something about it I really like. And again, this is one that I have just never seen in real life. I'd be very surprised if I got hold of this one this year, let's just say. But if I did see it, I would definitely jump at the chance of getting it. It does seem to be fairly rare, so there's probably not a huge amount of hope that I'm going to find this one, but it's on my list, so I've got my eye out for it. And if I don't find it, it's fine. The Syngonium Mojito kind of fills the same hole, so it's okay. And another Syngonium that I'd really like, and this one is actually fairly common now, is the Syngonium Milk Confetti. So this one has kind of splotches on it, dots of pink, and I just think it's a really fun plant, and I would love to get my hands on one of these. Yeah, I think it's a little bit different to the completely pink ones. It's kind of got a more of a spotty vibe to it, as you can see, and yeah, I just think it'd be fun to add that to my Syngonium collection. Another fairly uncommon Syngonium is the Syngonium Batik. You don't really see this around much, and I just think it's absolutely stunning. It's got such gorgeous veination, and yeah, I would love to get one of these. This is one of those kind of must-haves for people who are into Syngoniums, I think, and yeah, I would definitely like to get one of these. They're just absolutely gorgeous. It's kind of hard to believe that nature can produce kind of things like this sometimes. This one is just beautiful. Yeah, that's all I can say about it really. It's stunning, and certainly if I was to find one of these in real life, I would snap it up. Next is the Syngonium Chiapense. Is it Chiapense or Chiapense? I don't know. But this is a Syngonium that looks different to the other Syngoniums. It has a different sort of look to it, if you know what I mean. It's not an arrowhead shaped one. And yeah, I think this one's really going to be catching on this year. I've seen it a lot kind of coming out towards the end of this year. I think it might be one of those trending plants. But even though I'm not exactly interested in trends, I can't deny that I really love this plant. I think it's beautiful, and I would love to get one of these and grow it. And yeah, it's just a really unique Syngonium. It does not look like the others, as I say, and really interested to see what it would be like to grow this one as well. Another plant I'd really like is the Philodendron scandens, and I'd like the normal green version, which is fairly common and easy to get hold of, and I think it's a really beautiful plant. I would love to have one of these growing up a pole. And then the other thing I'd like is the same plant but variegated. So there is a variegated version, but this is going to be a little bit more difficult for me to get hold of. It's not very common. I've never seen it in person before. I've seen it a few times online, but it doesn't come up all that often. So there's I guess very little chance of me finding this one, but I can definitely find the solid green philodendron scandens. That one is readily available, so I do have hope that I could easily add that to my collection, and yeah, it probably won't cost a great deal either. Next is the philodendron Atabapoense, I think is how you say it, but this is another kind of long-leafed philodendron, and yeah, I just absolutely love this one. I would love to get this one growing up a pole, and I just think it's beautiful. I've definitely fallen in love with this one after looking at pictures of it online, and yeah, I would love to add this to my philodendron collection. I'd say out of all the genuses of plants, I have the most philodendrons. I have absolutely loads of them now, and yeah, I just love them. They are just so easy, so adaptable, and really fun to grow. And yeah, definitely love to add this one to my collection too. Next is the philodendron red emerald, and I think possibly this could be one of the parent plants of the painted lady because it looks very similar just without the variegation. But this one's got more solid green leaves, but it has those beautiful red stems, and yeah, I would love to get one of these. I do have a painted lady and it's still a little baby, but if that one didn't grow, I think the red emerald would be another good option that I could get, which it's fairly cheaper as well than the painted lady because it's the common version, but I think it's just as nice. It just doesn't have that yellow variegation, that kind of painted variegation, but I think the red emerald is definitely worth getting, and yeah, if I was to see one of these, I would get very excited and definitely buy it. It's I just think it's really stunning. I can't say no to red stems. They just always look really cool on a plant next to green. Green and red, I think, go really well together. Next is the Epipremnum pinnatum variegata. This is a variegated Epipremnum pinnatum, and yeah, I don't think this should be too difficult to get hold of because even though it's considered, I suppose, fairly rare, it's not all that difficult to get hold of. I've definitely seen it before in garden centres and I've seen it online too. But I just think this one's stunning. It's got those beautiful elongated leaves and they do fenestrate as well as they mature. I would just love to get one of these growing up a pole with those mature fenestrated leaves for sure. And yeah, I think there's quite a high chance that I might find this one because, as I say, it does tend to crop up a bit, so we'll see. Next is a plant that I'm kind of bringing over from last year that I didn't manage to get. Is the Ficus shiveriana moonshine. This is a rubber plant, and yeah, I just haven't found any of these that are the right size at the right price. I've seen tiny ones that are really expensive, but I'm waiting for the price to come down so I can get, you know, at least a medium-sized one. So yeah, I will still have my eye out for this one this year. So yeah, I will be keeping my eye out for the right one this year, and let's see if I manage to find one. I think there is quite a high chance I might find this one because it's been on the market for a while. I would love to know what you have on your wish list. Please do let me know in the comments, and yeah, let me know what you thought of my plant choices too, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Take care.